This is the Halftime Show with Omar Al-Duri on Pulse 95.
Salam and welcome to the Halftime Show. Now, this is a World Cup special, and we normally talk to you about things that happen behind the scenes. So what better than have someone who's designed the Lusail Stadium, which is the final stadium at the World Cup 2022 Qatar. Hatim Morsy is going to be on the show. He's an engineer, project manager, and operations manager. And more importantly, he's had a huge say in designing the stadium that's going to hold the World Cup final. That's on today's show. We talked about the atmosphere, what to expect, what the energy is going to be like, what the stadiums are going to be like, and what to expect when you go to the Qatar World Cup 2022. So make sure you stay tuned for more on the only place to be at 3, the Halftime Show on Pulse 95.
This is the Halftime Show with Omar Al-Duri on Pulse 95.
Salam and welcome to the Halftime Show with Omar Al-Duri. I'm your host, cover everything sport, international and local. Now, seeing that it's a World Cup month, it's only right I bring you someone from the World Cup. So we had to try and really dig deep and find someone that's really been involved and someone that's been a feature at the World Cup right now. And who better than on the show than Hatim Morsy. Hatim, welcome to the show, man.
Thanks very much for having me, Omar. I'm a big fan of yours, really. I listen to you a lot, all the way from Doha. So yeah, I really appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you making the time because you have a little bit of a busy schedule at the moment. Just the slight thing of a World Cup happening, right?
just a slight thing. Yeah, exactly.
So tell us about your personal journey because I'm really interested to see how you happen to work your way into designing and being part of the huge plans of the Lusail Stadium, which is where the World Cup final will be held. Tell us about your journey and how did this come about?
So honestly, Omar, I think there's an element of luck, but there's been a lot of hard work that's put into it. So since graduating from university, I managed to get a job in a big British engineering company, and through my experiences with them, I got to start designing sports arenas and sports stadia. And then the London Olympics happened at some point, and I was a volunteer at the London Olympics, and I just thought, the atmosphere in a major event is just electric. It's a real feel-good atmosphere. And I always wanted to be in events, but being an engineer, you never get to actually do the event operations. You end up building a stadium and then you leave, and then the operations team come in. So it's always been a dream of mine to do the event. Now, luckily, I managed to work on Lusail Stadium from design. And then I moved to Doha with my previous company. And then I got approached by a project management company that was going to further manage the design and the construction. And then once I'd done all of that for about 4.5 years, I managed to reach out to somebody from FIFA who used to come a lot to Qatar to visit the stadium, to see the progress. And I just asked, I said, by any chance, is there a role going? And I swear to you, Omar, it was just, you know what? There is a role going, and if you send me your CV, maybe we can set up an interview, and the rest is history. So I honestly, I'm really lucky, and I'm really thankful.
I gotta take you back on that though. You said 4.5 years of work. That don't sound like luck to me, man. I think you're being a little bit modest here. 4.5 years of work at that stage, then to present itself with the opportunity for FIFA, they wouldn't take you on if you hadn't put the work in.
Yeah, to be fair, they did come on a few occasions, and I was always giving them the tour and telling them about the updates and stuff. So they did know me, and I guess they wouldn't have given me a chance if they didn't feel I was, able to represent them and to represent the program, and to be at Lusail, first time, let's say in events, having a lot of engineering background and understanding of operations, but to actually do it, I'm really thankful for the opportunity. So yeah, I still think it's a bit of luck, but you have to hustle sometimes, to be able to get what you want.
No, that's great. And also, for those that don't know and that haven't seen the Lusail Stadium, I mean, talk us through it from your eyes. That's a different type of vision. When you see it, what do you see when you see the Lusail Stadium?
I'll be honest with you, I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with Lusail Stadium because I've spent lots of late nights working here, and but sometimes I do walk in the morning onto the pitch, and I just look up and I think, wow. I mean, this is a colossal structure. It's massive. It really does symbolize how much the World Cup means to Qatar, how much the World Cup means to FIFA, because it's a very close relationship in getting things delivered, and how much they really care about putting on a good show. It's I'm extremely proud to say that I've worked on this project on behalf of myself and on behalf of my Qatari colleagues. I think everyone has put in a really good shift on this, and yeah, it's for me, Lusail Stadium is home right now. I've been here in total with designing it in the beginning, and then project managing and constructing it, and now working on it. It's been about 7 years, so it's
Wow.
home essentially. Yeah.
Wow. Effectively almost two World Cups to design a stadium like that. That's not light at all. I want to ask you one question before we take a break. And I know we're not there yet, but we're kind of there yet, right? So, and you said this even when we were talking about this off air. How does it feel to finally be this close now?
The way you said this close, I mean, this close is honestly every minute. So just before we just went on air, or before we started recording, I was running around like a headless chicken. I've got like a list of 750 things to do, and I've
Wow.
literally got minutes left before the kickoff in Lusail. You know, it's that close for me.
Yeah.
Um, you know, and there's no shame in saying this, but the pressure is unprecedented. It's really unprecedented. I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. I want it to be the best, but I did have a bit of an emotional, I wouldn't say breakdown, because I know you talk a lot about mental health in sport, and
Yeah.
I listened to that on your show, but I did have a moment where I did have to cry, you know, and it was I couldn't
Mm.
control myself. It's an element of pride, being proud in what I've achieved. It's an element of the pressure and the mental stress on all our team members, because you know it's the biggest event in the world, and we're all perfectionists. We really want to put on the best show. So yeah,
Oh,
it's
man.
it's it's been tough, but it's great. It's going to be rewarding.
Goosebumps. Goosebumps, man. I don't think I'll be going to the Lusail Stadium, but I have to say now, every time I look at that stadium, I'm gonna think of you, man. It's gonna be amazing. I,
Thank
I
you,
can
mate.
I can feel it, bro. I'm going there for 4 days. I'll be there from the 24th to the 28th. I'm gonna check out 3 games as well. But I have to say, that's one stadium that just looking at it, like just the visuals for me, it looks stunning. It looks unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, if you do get a chance, Omar, if even if you don't have a ticket for the game, just try to come to the stadium when a game is on, and just listen to 80,000, 85,000 spectators from the outside. It's crazy. I mean, and there'll be screens up, and you'll be right there listening to it live, but seeing it on the screen. So please try it best. It's going to be awesome.
Amazing. All right, coming up next, we're talking to Hatim Morsy about the World Cup. We're talking about the final. We're talking about the images we've seen and a lot more on the only place to be at 3, the halftime show on Pulse 95.
This is the halftime show with Omar Al Duri on Pulse 95.
Salam and welcome back to the halftime show. If the first segment did not give you goosebumps, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, God, the World Cup is here. I'm talking to the man himself, Hatim Morsy. We kind of lived that first segment with him from the challenges that he was facing. If you do miss the show, don't worry. You can catch all of our episodes on Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud if you like a podcast, or if you want to see the brother's face himself on the YouTube channel, Pulse 95 Radio. Our episode is there and it's live on YouTube. So make sure you check it out and check out what's been happening behind the scenes. On the show, we like to talk about what happens behind the scenes, not just the mainstream, not just the commercial. And that's why Hatim is perfect for this role, because many people will be going to that stadium and not many people will be knowing how much hard work was put behind it. And that's why this show is so great, because we have people like Hatim on the show. Now, Hatim, just before the break, we were talking, and there was something that we dived into. We dived into the Lusail Stadium. And that's, if I'm not mistaken, where the final will be held. Is that correct?
That's
What's the
correct. Yeah.
capacity in this stadium? 80,000 more?
So it officially it's an 80,000 seater stadium.
Mhm.
You know, from discussing with my colleagues in ticketing, I think it can go above 80,000, but it's an officially an 80,000 seater stadium. Yeah.
Amazing. And for those that don't know, 80,000 people in a stadium. I'm sure the football fans have been to some stadiums, maybe even at 20,000 capacity, if you're lucky. Just to give you guys an idea, the Emirates Stadium is 60. The Bernabeu is what, 100, give or take. So 80,000 people at the World Cup in the final, those lucky people who are going to be watching it in the final, that must be something unreal.
Yeah, I'm gonna be lucky myself because I'm gonna be in the players' tunnel, hopefully.
Oh, so I'll be looking out for you now.
Yeah, well, so I'm part of the TV operations team. So
Right.
I'm sort of working with the host broadcaster, et cetera, to make it all come to life. So what you watch on TV from Lusail will be the output of all my hard work and my team's hard work here in Lusail Stadium. I'm not technically meant to be on TV, so you're gonna have to really look because
I'm
the
gonna.
cameraman. Yeah, just exactly, exactly. But yeah, no, I did it. I worked on the Arab Cup, so we had the Arab Cup back in 2021,
Yeah.
and I was in the players' tunnel there, and I was standing next to my sort of like my heroes for the Egyptian national team,
Mm-hmm.
who were part of that team that won the African nations 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
Isam Al Hadri, Mohammed Shawati,
Yeah.
Wa'al Goma,
Yeah.
Carlos Queiroz. They were
Yeah.
all there, standing next to me, just high-fiving me, and I thought to myself, I would never have dreamt that this would be happening. Just a guy pat me on the back and walk past. So
Yeah.
imagine the World Cup now with all these great players
Yeah.
in the final. So let's see who makes it. Who do you think? Who do you think is gonna
I was
make
gonna
the final?
ask you, who do you think's gonna be in the
See,
final?
I beat you to it. uh, Honestly, I really want England to make it to the final. I mean,
Yeah.
it's about time.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's about time. I don't know. I think the Netherlands might make it to the final.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, the Netherlands and hopefully England if they don't cross paths before. Let's see.
Yeah. I did. Did you have you done the predictor, the simulator?
I haven't yet. No.
Okay. So that so I
Or
so what I
did you
was
do it?
doing, yeah. So in the last episode on the halftime show, I did the predictor with the listeners. We did it together because when you ask people normally, they'll probably have a favorite. Say Brazil, they say Argentina. They'll say all these teams. So what I did is I went through the predictor with them, and we kind of, I mean, you're talking about a couple of people that were going back and forward with me. We kind of got to Brazil, Portugal in the final. I tried not to be biased. I try not to say England. I try not to say Ghana, and I try not to say Saudi. So those three teams, with all that, we got to Brazil, Portugal. If I was gonna be biased, then I would have said probably England would sneak in there instead of Portugal. Because for me, I had England beating a weakened French side, and I had Portugal beating England to reach the final. With
Wow.
Brazil, with Brazil, I had them just sneaking past Germany, which was a tricky one because I have two teams that I think might just ruin everyone's predictor, and that's Spain and
So
Germany.
so my wife is German.
Okay,
So
okay.
if we get an England Germany final, that would be awesome.
Oof, that'd be
That would be
fire.
amazing.
And
Yeah,
the fact that the most creative player in Germany is English, Jamal Musiala. So, it's a win-win. It's a
yeah,
win-win for your household. Um,
exactly.
Talking to you about the pitches, I remember being involved with the Under 20 World Cup, and I've never actually been to a stadium as a fan. This will be the first time I'll be at a World Cup and I'll be at a stadium as a fan. Stepping onto the pitch in the Under 20s, the pitches were in immaculate condition. I can imagine you lot doing unreal, like golf course carpet type of pitches. Is that what we're looking to expect?
Yeah, I mean they're all the highest standard of pitches that you can think of. Obviously, Qatar is a challenging climate, and to deliver, class pitches is very difficult. So I'm not part of the pitch management team, so I couldn't tell you the exact details, but I do know that they put in a lot of effort to get those pitches in great condition.
Mm,
And I'm standing by the pitch every day, and I just look across and I see how much pride the pitch team take in delivering those pitches.
mm,
It means a lot to everybody. Every
yeah.
single member of the team. It really means a lot to them. And the training sites themselves, actually, they're all world class pitches as well. And I'm lucky to even play on those sometimes. So
Oh,
they have
I'm
opened them
jealous.
up to the community.
I'm
Yeah,
jealous.
I'm sure you would be. I'm lucky. So no, when you come, I'll see if I can get you a game on one of those pitches. They're really good. They're really
Amazing.
good. Yeah.
Amazing. One last thing. I've heard a lot of things about the stadiums being air conditioned and obviously to help the players deal with that. How much has been put into that side of the game to kind of cross off that element that it's in a hot country? Not saying it's not, but the fact it's at mid-year, mid-season, everyone's talking about the weather conditions. How much will the AC pitches and stadiums help the players get through 90 minutes?
So, so first of all, there's one stadium that isn't air conditioned. It's Stadium 974, if I remember correctly. That's naturally cooled. At that time of the year, the weather's going to be about 20 to 25 degrees, so it's going to be manageable anyway. I don't know if that's one of the reasons why it's gone to the to November, but I can tell you, standing in an air conditioned stadium, it gets so cold. You need a hoodie, and sometimes, honestly, you could even put gloves on. It's that cold. So it's such a great system, a great system that they've got in place here. And I'm in wonders in how these engineers, my colleagues, have managed to put in a system like that, because they've really thought about it, and they'll be able to cater for any temperature that's required.
Right. So you advise the fans to bring something warm for the stadiums?
I mean, I would definitely get them to bring a hoodie just in case.
Yeah.
It might get a bit chilly. Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, wicked. All right, listen, I can talk to you all day, Hatim, but we're going to take a quick break. And as soon as we get back, we'll be diving into segment 3 on the only place to be at 3, the halftime show on Pulse 95. See you in a bit, folks.
If you liked this episode of The Halftime Show, drop a like and subscribe.
95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.